see if anybody jumps on.
Hey, is that light supposed to be on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it helps.
Okay.
Nobody's on yet, so that's why we're chatting. Yeah, hello.
Somebody there?
We'll wait for a second or two and see. All right. Yes.
Okay, yay, somebody's there. Good morning. It is Friday. It's not Wednesday, it's Friday. My name is Silke, and I am here at the Woodlands Yoga Studio, getting ready to lead you through a little mixed level class. So for today's, I don't know, do you want me to give any more
this is the last free.
That's right. This is the very last of the free recorded classes that we're going to be doing, because starting Monday, the studio is going to reopen on a limited, with a limited schedule. So be sure to check out the webpage, because there's a few new rules. There's a new student protection plan in place. So please go ahead and familiarize yourself with all of that. And I really look forward to seeing you all next week. I'm teaching my Tuesday and Wednesday classes, so hopefully I will see some of your smiling faces then. It'll be really nice to have somebody else in the studio.
Other than me.
Oh, well, not that Sue isn't wonderful. So anyway, for today's practice, I would like you to have 2 blocks and a strap, a kind of a longer strap if you have one. All right, and let's get started. We're going to focus a little bit more on core, because it's almost bathing suit season, so we need strong cores for all of that. All right, so find a comfortable seated position, balancing evenly on your sitting bones. Maybe move your fabulousness away from your sitting bones a little bit. Go ahead, sit up nice and tall. Take a big breath in through the nose if you can. And then just hold that breath for a moment, feeling all that fullness in your lungs. And then as you exhale, open your mouth, let the air out, let your shoulders relax. And just start to let yourself settle down onto your mat and into yourself. If you can, keep breathing in and out through the nose. If allergies are causing a little congestion, then go ahead and open your mouth a little bit. And just begin to bring all your thoughts inward, following the breath as it flows in and as it flows out. Doing a little scan through the body, noticing how the muscles and the bones are feeling. Bringing breath to any areas that might be feeling a little constricted. And if you'd like, set an intention for your practice this morning. Take a few more moments just to deepen the breath. Start to slowly come into that 3-part Dirga breath. So as you inhale, let the air flow all the way into the very bottoms of the lungs, softening the belly muscles. And then move up to the rib cage area. Allow the ribs to expand out. And at the very end of the inhalation, let the collarbones rise, let the sternum rise slightly. So you're very full of air. And as you exhale, slowly let the chest drop, let the ribs contract around your core, and draw the belly button to the spine. And as you're doing all this, try to lengthen the exhalation just by about 2 or 3 counts. If you'd like to add the ocean-sounding Ujjayi breath, make the slight constriction in the back of the throat so that your breath is audible to those sitting within social distance of you. After your next exhalation, you can slowly either let your eyes open if they were closed, or just start to come back into a regular breath, and bring your hands behind you so you can come up onto the fingertips slightly behind you. And then as you inhale, lift up the heart, add a little arch to the back. And as you exhale, let your arms come forward and round into a little seated cat stretch. Inhale, bring the arms back slightly behind you, lift the heart. Exhale into a rounded cat. And let's do one more of those. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale into a nice cat. And then inhale, sweep the arms up, nice and tall. And as you exhale, bring your hands back down to your sides. And let's have everybody have their right leg in front. I'm gonna do the mirror talk. So right leg is forward. And then go ahead and turn towards your left. Place your right hand on your left knee and then reach up and over. So you're leaning your right shoulder towards your right knee. Coming into a nice big side stretch. And then inhale, come on back up to center. As you exhale, let the left hand come behind you and twist. Inhale back to center, arms come up. And exhale, bring both hands forward and just crawl the fingers forward. Rock a little bit into this hip stretch. And then creep your fingers back and go ahead and switch up the crossing of your legs. Have your left leg forward. Twist towards your right leg. I don't know why I'm so confused. I'm usually good at this. And then sweep up the right arm and lean the left shoulder towards your left knee. Possibly noticing if there's a difference between the stretch on the sides. Just noticing, not judging now. And then inhale back up and let your right hand come behind you, twist. And come on back to center, bring your hands forward and creep the fingers forward. And again, maybe rock a little bit side to side. Once again, noticing the difference between the two sides. And then slowly walk your hands back. Good. Now you're going to bring your hands behind you and uncross your legs and bring your feet forward. I'm just going to turn sideways here. Now you might want your blocks right next to your hips. This is an option for a little bit later. And then go ahead and bring your hands behind you again. Let your toes come to the floor. Lift your heart. Good. And then think of engaging the belly muscle. So knitting the ribs together, slightly firming the lower abdominals. And then lift your feet up off the floor. So coming into a little boat pose, Navasana. Good. And here you can do little Barbie feet. So flare through, flex and point at the same time. Floint your toes. Good. And you can stay right here. Or if you'd like, make it a little bit more difficult. Bring your arms forward. Ooh, find that balance. Keep the heart high. Good. If you'd like, you can even straighten your legs, maybe. Ooh, good. And then bend your knees again if they were straight. Now place your hands on your blocks or on the floor. And we're going to cross your right leg over your left leg. And then just see if you can lift up your bum. Wah! And set it back down. Come on back to boat. Hold it for 5 breaths. 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, hands come down, left leg crosses over right, lift up, and lower down. Ooh, that's hard. And another 5 breaths. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And now slowly, slowly lower yourself down onto your back. And then go ahead and hug the knees into the chest. Whew. Now, if you want to strengthen your core and work on this a little bit more, you can do several sets of that crossing and lifting, and you can eventually get rid of the blocks and try to lift yourself up. And that's the kind of move that's going to help you to get strong enough to do those crazy pull-throughs and jump-throughs that some of the young crazy people like to do in yoga. All right, so roll around a little bit on your back, massaging the lower back. You can circle your knees. Make sure you circle them in both directions. your strap, which hopefully wasn't too far away. Unroll your strap, and then go ahead and place the strap around the ball of your right foot, extending your right leg up towards the ceiling. And just hold on to the strap with one hand on each side. Good. And then see if you can extend your bottom leg nice and strong along the floor. You can keep the left heel on the floor. Good. Nice. And then lift up your shoulders. Try not to pull too hard on the strap so you're not hanging by your arms, but you're using your core to lift yourself up. And again, we're going to hold this for 3, 2, 1. Good. Lower your head down. And now you can pull with your arms, letting your leg come a little closer towards your face. So a little bit more hamstring stretch. All the while keeping that left foot actively flexed. Keep sending energy out through your left heel. Good. And then release the stretch a little bit. Take both ends of the strap into your right hand and start to let your leg open out to the right. Try to keep that left hip nice and heavy. Keep flexing the left foot. And then gently draw the right foot a little bit closer towards your head or your right shoulder. And bring your leg back to center. Take both ends of the strap into your left hand. I like to take my right hand and just place the thumb right in the hip crease, and you're trying to keep your right hip down and externally rotate your right leg a little bit. Then pull your right leg over to the left so your foot lines up with your left shoulder. Ooh. And now you can gently, very small movement here, pull that right leg up towards the top of your left shoulder. Good. This one always gets lots of sensation. Ooh. All right, gently release. Slide your left heel up and let your right ankle cross over your left leg, and just take your strap off to the side for a moment. Coming into our figure 4 stretch. Go ahead and lift your left foot up off the floor. If you'd like, you can interlace your hands behind your left knee. Maybe rock a little bit side to side, and then take a second to roll out both ankles. See if you can loosen them up. And release your left foot back to the floor. Let your thighs slide together so there's no space between them. Good. And then lift up your left leg again, and we're going to come into our longhorn pose. So see if you can grab your heels. So what you'll be doing is grabbing your opposite heels. And then if you can, lay your head back down and just gently pull your heels toward your shoulders until you feel a nice stretch in your hips. Ooh. Okay. This is a little bit easier on the knees than doing it from a seated position, which we'll get to at the end of class. And then gently release your heels. Let your left foot come back to the floor. Let your arms open out to the side, and now drop the knees to the left. And maybe turn your head to the right. So we get a full spinal twist. Then inhale, bring your gaze back to center, bring your knees back up. Go ahead and uncross the legs, find your strap again. And we're going to do that whole sequence on the other leg. So starting with the left foot captured by the strap, extend that left leg up, arms are straight. And then slide your right heel towards the base of your mat. So nice strong right leg. And then don't hang too much on your straps. Go ahead and lift up your head, your chin tucked slightly towards your chest. And let's hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Lower your shoulders and head back down. And now you can pull a little bit more with your arms to get that long hamstring stretch. And then release release the stretch a little bit. Take both ends of the strap into your left hand and start to open the left leg out to the side. Good. So if you keep pressing strongly with the foot into the strap, you'll feel a nice stretch along the inner thigh. And again, the right heel is actively flexed and pointing towards the base of your mat. And bring your leg back up to center, switching sides, hand grabs both sides of the strap. Left hand can hold on to the top of your left thigh, and then just let your left leg cross your midline and gently start to pull the foot up towards your right shoulder. Slide your right heel up towards your hip and let your left ankle cross over your right knee. So figure four stretch. Lift your right foot off the floor, maybe interlace your hands behind your right knee, and then roll out the ankles again. Good. Maybe rock a little bit side to side. Maybe think of sending your left leg away from your body a little bit more. And then release your right foot back to the floor. Let your thighs slide together so there's no space between them. And then lift that right foot back up off the floor and come into your longhorn pose. So ground the bottom of your feet. I like to cup my ankles in my hands, or my heels, I mean. And then gently, gently pull the feet towards your shoulders. Yeehaw. And gently release, right foot comes back to the floor, open your arms into a T, and now drop your knees off to the right, and possibly turn your head to the left. And then bring your gaze back to center, bring your knees back up, go ahead and uncross the legs, and come into a happy baby. So knees are bent, legs are open wide, reaching for the outer edges of your feet. And if it feels good, rock a little bit side to side. You can even pulse the knees towards the floor a few times. Little happy baby pulses. And then release your feet, tuck your hands behind your knees, tuck your chin to your chest, and rock your way up. And we're going to come all the way up and forward onto all fours. So as you're making your way forward, grab your blocks and have them at the front of your mat. And you can set your strap off to the side. And we'll just do a few little cat-cows here. If you need to pad underneath your knees with a blanket, that's what the blanket is here for, you can do that. So hips are over knees. Wrists are under shoulders, or actually maybe a little bit ahead of the shoulders. And then just let your belly soften towards the floor. You can even sway your hips a little bit side to side. Think of softening the heart down between the shoulder blades. Good. And then as you exhale, start to press the hands into the floor, rounding through the upper back, drawing the chin to the chest and the belly button to the spine. Good. As you inhale, soften down again, finding that arch in the back. Exhale, round into a big cat. And we'll do one more. Inhale into cow. And exhale into cat. And come on back to a neutral spine. Let's do a little opening for the shoulders. Left hand can come more towards the center of your mat. Sweep the right arm out to the side and up. And then as you exhale, thread that right arm underneath the left. Your left hand, you can either keep your fingertips on the floor and your elbow high, or you can extend that left arm forward. Just kind of play with what feels good. Try to imagine that you're keeping your hips as level as possible. Sometimes the tendency is for the hip to kind of scooch over, so try to keep the hips level. Good. And then press the left fingers back into the floor. Inhale, sweep the right arm up. And exhale, set the right hand switching sides. Left arm sweeps up. As you exhale, thread underneath. You're going to let the top left side of your head come to the floor, maybe. If you'd like to extend your right arm straight, you can. And then if your right arm was straight, bring it back so the elbow's bent, and inhale, sweep the left arm up, and exhale, set the left hand down. Good. So finding your tabletop position once again. Let's take your left foot and press it back into the mat. So get a nice little stretch for the calf. Enjoy the calf stretch, so just take a moment or two. You can even gently pulse if you want to slowly bend the knee slightly and then straighten it. And then let's engage the core a little bit here. So press the hands into the floor. Think of rounding a little bit through the upper back. Draw the belly button to the spine, and then float your right knee off the mat, just an inch or so. So your left toes are pressing firmly into the floor, otherwise that'd be really hard. Good, and then set your right knee back down. Try to keep that strength through the core as you let your left leg now float up. Good, so the left toes are pointing at the floor, the gaze is fixed at the floor. And then extend your right arm forward, finding that spinal balance. Now we're going to add a few crunches to this. So as you inhale, think extend. As you exhale, draw your right elbow towards your left knee, rounding. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Two more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. And last one, inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch, and then set your hand down, set your knee down. You might want to shake out your left wrist a little bit. Good. And we'll come to the other side. Right toes press into the mat. Take your time with the calf stretch. As I was saying, with all the extra walking and things we've been doing, it's good to spend a little extra time stretching the calves and the quads. And then again, start to prepare the belly. So pressing the hands into the floor, pressing up between the shoulder blades. Float with the left knee, just an inch or so. Just notice how much strength it takes to do that. And then try to keep that strength as you set your left knee back down. And now float the right toes up. Good. Right hand stays down, the left arm extends forward. Take a moment finding the balance. Then inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee crunch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Two more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. And last one. And crunch. Good. Extend it back out. And set your hand down, set your knee down. Shake out the right wrist. Whew, that'll warm you up in a hurry, huh? Okay, go ahead and place your hands back on your mat, getting ready for a downward facing dog. So you want your fingers spread wide, maybe have the fingertips pointing up towards the corners of your mat. Curl the toes under, get a good grip with your toes, and then lift up the knees and stretch it back. So now you can find your breath. Gently pedal your heels towards the floor, alternating left and right. Make it really slow, though. Slow and intentional. You can use your Ujjayi breath again here. One more breath here, bringing your feet to stillness. Big breath in, lengthening. Exhale, sending the heels a little bit closer to the floor. And now go ahead and lower your knees down and just sit back in a little child's pose. You can let your hands come down by your heels. Let your shoulders soften. Letting your hips soften. Just take a few breaths here. If you want to, while you're here, you can roll out your wrists a little bit. Open and close your fingers. Roll out the wrists. And then go ahead and bring your hands forward again. Come on back up to all fours. And now step your right foot forward, coming into a low lunge. If you'd like, you can use your blocks here. You want a big angle on the back thigh. Try to have your front knee over your front ankle. And the more you start to lift your torso up, the more you'll feel that stretch in the hip flexor of the left leg. Find your breath. And then bring your right hand up onto your right leg and let your left arm sweep up. Now you're going to draw your left hip back a little bit more. So your left hip is more or less over your back knee. And then go ahead and bend your left elbow. And grab the hold of the left elbow with your right hand. Adding that tricep stretch. And it really does stretch that whole left front side of your body. Very nice. Release both hands back up, big breath in. And then as you exhale, lean forward and twist towards the right. You can bring your hands together in front of your heart. And then release, bring your hands back either to the blocks or to the floor. Curl the back toes under and lift the back knee up. Good. And then we're going to pulse into our little rocking horses. So as you inhale, straighten the front leg, lifting up the front toes. And exhale, come on back into the lunge. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lunge. Good. One more. Inhale, straighten. And come back to the lunge. Now if you want, you can turn your right toes slightly towards the right. Keep your left hand down and sweep the right arm up. Opening up into a lunge with a twist. Nice. And then bring your right hand back down. Drop your back knee down. We're going to add that big quad stretch. So your left hand can stay up high on your block or on the floor. Turn your right leg a little bit more out to the side. And then see if you can lift your left toes off the floor. Good. Maybe reach around and see if you can make that hand to foot connection. Ooh, you have to be a little careful here. Sometimes that hamstring will cramp. Good. On your back knee there, you want to be above the kneecap. So sometimes you have to kind of scooch your back knee back a little further so that when you bend the leg, you're above the kneecap. Good. And then slowly release, bring your hands back. Let's do another little hamstring stretch. Walk your hands back as you straighten your front leg. Good. Nice. And then come on back. Step your front foot back. And let's switch sides. Step your left foot forward now. It's going to feel good to stretch that one. Ooh-wee. Use your blocks if you'd like. Left knee over left ankle, big angle on the back thigh. Gently pressing into the blocks. Remember, if you straighten up your torso, a little bit more intensity there. Good. Your back toes can either be curled under or the top of your foot can be flat. It's whatever you prefer. And you can play with both. Left hand comes up onto the left leg, sweep the right arm up, and then draw that right hip back. So you're sitting up taller on that right knee. Bend the right elbow, grab a hold of it with your left hand, add the tricep stretch. Try to keep some integrity here in the rib cage area. Don't let the ribs just splay out. So you're still knitting the ribs a little bit. Good. And then release both arms back up, big breath in. As you exhale, come forward and twist towards the left. Maybe joining your palms. Good. And then bring your hands back either to the floor or your blocks. Curl the back toes under and lift your back knee up. So finding the strong lunge. And then let's add the rocking horse. So straighten the front leg, lifting up the front toes. And then come on back to the lunge. Good. Inhale, straighten the leg. Think of drawing the belly button to the spine. Exhale, lunge. And again, inhale, straighten. Exhale, lunge. Now keep your right hand down. You can maybe turn your toes, your left toes a little bit towards the left and sweep that left arm out and up. Adding that lunge with a twist. Good, and then let your left hand come back down, drop your back knee down, add the quad stretch, let your right toes come up, and then maybe sweep that left arm back. And gently release. I do like to hold the quad stretches a little bit longer because I find it so important to stretch the quads. Now go ahead and slowly straighten your front leg, lifting up the toes. And then soften back into the front knee and slide your front foot back. Right. Move your blocks off to the side. Grip your mat, coming back into downward facing dog. So curling the toes, lifting the knees, and stretching it back. Let's do a little three-legged dog. So start to move your toes a little closer to each other. Shift the weight to your left leg and sweep that right leg up. And then go ahead and open the hips to the right, bending the right leg, flexing the right foot. Try to keep the shoulders square though. One more nice big breath in, and as you exhale, gently step the right foot down next to the left foot. And we'll switch sides. Left leg comes up, open up the leg, open the hip to the left, flex the foot, bend the knee, straighten out the shoulders. And then straighten your leg back out and step the left foot next to the right. Soften your knees, look forward at your hands, and gently step or maybe hop your feet forward. Good. And then once you get your feet forward, just let your knees bend and place the backs of your hands on the floor. So you're getting a little stretch to the wrists. And then just go ahead and let the arms get loose. Maybe shake them out a little bit. If you want to, you can clasp your opposite elbows with your hands. And let your whole torso hang and maybe sway side to side. And then release your hands and slowly walk your hands up your legs. Good. Once you come up, you can sweep the arms up and exhale. Hands come in front of your heart. Take a nice big breath in and sigh it out. We made it up to standing. Very good. All right, so while we're standing, let's do our tree poses. We'll start with finding a focal spot. This is your drishti. So gaze at something that's not going to move. Usually it's a spot on the floor in front of you or slightly above floor level. Good. And if you'd like, you can slowly rock forwards and backwards a few times, lifting up the toes, setting them down nice and wide. Both feet are firmly on the floor. Think of lifting the kneecaps, a little tilt of the tailbone under. Good. Let's come into our Tadasana mountain pose. Turn your hands forward. Good. And feel strong and steady like a mountain here. Good. And now go ahead and place your hands on your hips and start to let all of your weight float into your right leg. So your left knee gets a little bit soft. You can wave it around a little bit. Keep that integrity in your belly muscles. Let your left knee turn out to the side, and then see if you can place your left foot either at your ankle or your calf, or maybe even high against your inner thigh. Good. Remember, keep your drishti. You want to keep your gaze soft but steady. And then your hands can stay at your hips. You can bring them together in front of your heart. You can lift them up overhead. So the wider apart your hands are, the easier the balance is. So you can be big like a big old oak tree, or pointy like a pine. I saw one video once and he said, trees sway. So it's okay if you sway. Doesn't help if the teacher's swaying and you happen to be looking her way. Good. Stay for one more breath, just feeling all that strength and steadiness. Woo. And slowly bring it all back in. Placing both feet on the floor. And then just take a second before you start moving, noticing how you feel. Usually you feel pretty unbalanced after one side, so shake it back out. Cleansing breath, and let's do the other side. So find your focal spot, start to shift your weight into your left leg, right knee gets soft, slightly turn it out to the side. You're going to try and keep both hip points facing forward though. And then place your foot at your ankle, your calf, or high against the inner thigh. Remember, belly muscles are strong, lifting your heart. Adding whatever arms please you. And if you fall out of this pose, don't worry about it, just try to step back into it. These balance poses are definitely ones that change day by day, even hour by hour. And slowly bring it all back in. Step your right foot down. And now again, notice how you're feeling. Hopefully you feel wonderfully balanced. Good. Shake it out. All right, let's do some hard standing poses. So turn again towards the front of your mat, standing either with your feet hip width apart, or if you'd like, you can have your toes touch, heels slightly apart. Hands come together in front of your heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. If you want to, for these first ones, leave your knees really bent. Extend your spine nice and flat. Exhale, fold forward. And then inhale, sweep the arms out and up. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Good. We're going to do that 2 more times. A little half sun breath. Inhale up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Extend the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Good, one more time. Inhale up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, extend the spine, flat back. Exhale, fold forward, soft knees. And inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. All right, we're going to make this a little bit harder. We're going to do 2 Surya Namaskar A's. So sun salutation A's. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, extend the spine, come halfway up. Exhale, hands come to the floor, step back into a plank. Hold this strong plank so your thighs are really strong. Upper back is rounded and strong. One more breath in, maybe come slightly forward, shoulders ahead of wrists. Exhale, you can come to your knees, bend your elbows, and bring yourself to the floor. Straighten out your toes, roll the thighs, tuck the tailbone, and inhale up for a cobra. Exhale back down, press yourself back up into plank, and then stretch it back to downward dog. Take 3 breaths in dog. And soften the knees, look forward at the hands, and step your feet forward. Maybe step right foot, left foot, extend your spine. Exhale, fold forward, and with soft knees and a flat back, inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Here we are going to do 2 more Surya Namaskar A's. Inhale up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, step back to plank. Inhale, come slightly forward. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, back to downward dog. Take those 3 breaths in dog. Then soften the knees, look forward at the hands, and step or hop your feet forward. Maybe step forward with the other foot. Extend the spine, nice flat back. Exhale, fold forward, and inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. All right, this last one, we're gonna do 1 breath per movement. So inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, step back to plank and lower down chaturanga, holding. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to stay with 3 breaths here though. And 1 more. And soften the knees, look forward at your hands and step or float. The feet forward. Well, didn't float it all the way. Extend the spine. Exhale, fold forward and inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Good. All right, now before we move on, make sure that you have your blocks somewhat close by. We're gonna do a few standing poses and include triangle and an extended side angle. Well, I might turn the other way just for fun. Okay, because we're gonna start with the right leg and all that. So again, hands together in front of your heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, step back to dog. Good. Move your toes a little closer to each other. Inhale your right leg up. And then as you exhale, step your right foot forward. Good. And spin your back heel down, getting ready for warrior 1. So you want a little bit of distance between your heels. Think train tracks as opposed to balance beam. Slightly turn your left hip towards the floor and then press strongly through that back foot as you inhale your way up to a warrior 1. Relax the shoulders. You have options here if you'd like to do that tricep stretch again. Bend the right elbow, grab a hold of it with your left hand, draw back. Again, be mindful that the ribs aren't opening and flaring up. You want to keep those ribs knitted. Good. Inhale, both arms come up. Then as you exhale, lean forward, clasp your hands behind you, coming into a humble warrior. You can extend the hands up towards the ceiling as the crown of the head stretches towards the floor. Maybe fix your gaze at a spot on the mat right in front of you, right next to your right foot, basically. Good. And then release your arms, release your hands, bring them down on the mat. If you want to use your block, you can take your right block and place it next to your right ankle, and then we're going to slowly straighten your front leg. Your back foot really doesn't have to move very much, hopefully. And we're going to open up into triangle. So right hand stays on the block, left arm opens all the way up. Good. Gaze can stay fixed at the mat, straight out to the side, or you can even try and twist and look up at the ceiling. More breath. And then go ahead and take your top hand and just place it on your hip. Bend your front leg again, your right leg, and just move your back foot back, one little heel toe. We're going to try to come into a bound side angle from here. So let your right hand come in front to the inside of your right leg. And you might have to let your chest turn towards the floor here. Wrap the right arm underneath the right thigh, and then let your left hand reach around behind you. See if you can clasp your hands. Good. Now, if you've got that clasp, then you start to turn your chest back to the side here. Good. Whew. Good. And then don't move your legs at all. Unclasp your hands. Bring that right hand back to that block on the outside of your right leg. And let your left arm extend overhead. So coming into a nice big extended side angle. Ooh, boy, that red leg's starting to burn a little bit, huh? And then inhale, lift yourself up to warrior 2. Ooh, this is tough. And straighten the front leg. Take a breath. That was hard. Okay, so now you want to move your back foot, one little heel toe back in, so shortening your stance, and we're going to come back it down into triangle. So both legs are straight. Big breath in. As you exhale, reach for the front of your mat. Let your right hand come back down. Left arm stretches back up. And then as you exhale, just go ahead and let your top arm turn or come to the floor. Let yourself turn back into a lunge and step your front foot back. Downward facing dog. This is where dog becomes an active resting pose. Okay. I'm going to turn myself around again so I'm facing you all during these next bits. And now move your toes closer to each other. And when you're ready, sweep the left leg up. Really press those hands into the floor. Try to reach the right heel towards the floor. Big breath in. And as you exhale, draw the left knee underneath you and step the left foot forward. Set your right heel down. Get strong through that back leg. Front knees over front ankle. And then lift up into a warrior one. And relax your shoulders into it. If you want to add that tricep stretch, bend the left elbow, grab a hold of it with your right hand, draw it back. Watch those ribs. And then inhale, release the arms back up. As you exhale, lean forward, let your hands sweep behind you, clasping the hands, and then lift up the hands, the knuckles towards the ceiling as the crown of the head stretches towards the floor. And then gently unclasp the hands, bring your hands back down onto the floor, maybe use your block, your left block to the outside of the left ankle, and slowly straighten your left leg. You can start to open your right hip up towards the ceiling. Let your right hand float up, coming up into triangle. You can play with what height of the block works for you. A little bit higher gives you a little bit more space here. All right, getting ourselves mentally psyched up for the whole bound extended angle. Top hand can come to the hip, bend your left leg, move your right foot back so it's a little bit wider stance here. Okay. And then bring that left arm to the inside of your left leg. Bring that left arm underneath your left thigh and see if you can wrap the right arm behind you and find that bind. Now if you've turned your whole chest towards the floor, start to open up towards the side wall. Very good. And then release your bind. Let your left hand come back onto the block and extend that right arm overhead, finding the extended side angle. Now being really firm through both feet, strong legs, you're going to inhale and bring yourself up to a warrior two. Good. Take a breath or two. And then straighten the front leg again. Move your back foot in, one little heel toe, so shortening your stance. And then with legs straight and waist long, reach for the front of your mat and come on back down into triangle. And as you exhale, let your front hand float back down. You can spin up onto the ball of your back foot. Move your blocks out of the way. And then step back into downward facing dog. Okay. And then from here, we're going to come into a little X step dog. So take your right foot and cross it in front of your left. And then you can kind of adjust your feet out to the side. So we're doing a little X dog. Good. And now go ahead and bring your right shin down onto the floor. You're going to sweep that right foot off to the left a little bit. Sweep your left foot off to the right. And see if you can walk your way back into Gomukhasana legs. So remember, we did the longhorn pose on our backs. This is the same thing, but we're sitting up. Now, if you need to, you might want to slide a blanket underneath your hips. Ooh, give you a little bit more lift. Good. And let's go ahead and turn towards the right. So the right hand goes behind you, spine stays nice and tall. And then coming back to center and twist towards the left. behind you. Again, keep the spine nice and tall. And then coming back to center and maybe walk the hands forward and fold forward a little bit. Okay, and lift yourself back up. Now this part can be hard. We're gonna come back up into downward dog. So see if you can lift yourself up, bring your hands forward, uncross the legs, and come up into dog. One side might be easy and the other side not. I guess we'll see. And now the left foot goes in front of the right. Maybe separate the feet a little bit as you get comfortable in this X dog. Good. Think of pressing back through the heels. And then bring your left shin to the floor. Kind of move your feet out away to the side and sit back. And another opportunity to notice the difference between the two sides. Notice if there's one that's more resistant than the other. And this time we're going to turn first to the left. So spine is straight, twist towards the left. Back to center and twist towards the right. And then bring it back to center, bring your hands forward and maybe lean forward a little bit. And go ahead and come on up. So walk your hands forward again. And then lift, you can kind of press, I'm pressing my right toes into the floor, lift up the knees, and then you just step your feet into a regular dog. Good. Take a breath here. And then from here, we're gonna come into Malasana. So your feet are gonna come to the outside of your hands. You can either step them forward, or if you're feeling it, you can hop forward and lower your hips down. Good. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Another option is to grab a hold of the sides of your mat and just pull the mat forward. Gives you a little traction. If you need to, you can always place a block underneath your hips. That makes it a little easier. I like it. Good. One more breath. And let's come into one last forward fold. Hands come down, hips come up. Feet move in so they're about hip width apart. And again, if you'd like, place the backs of the hands against the floor, get a little stretch to the wrists. And then just go ahead and bend your knees and just come on down into a seated position. We'll come into a bound angle, so bring the soles of your feet together. If you'd like, you can sit up on the edge of a blanket. Now remember, next week when you come to class, you have to have your own mat, your own blanket, 2 blocks, and a strap. Even if you don't plan on using the blanket, the blocks, and the strap, just to keep everybody the same in uniform, we request that you please bring all those props. Okay, a little PSA for the day. So sit up nice and tall. Think of pressing your heels into each other and extending out through the knees. And let's do one last little curl forward. You can grab a hold of your feet, maybe let the feet open up like a book. See if you can tuck the chin to the chest. Imagine you're going to place the crown of your head into that little open area of your feet. Imagine. It's most likely not going to happen. And then come on back up. Good. Take your hands to the outside of your knees and just gently close up your knees. And then you're going to make your way down onto your backs. For your Shavasana. So slowly roll down. Take a moment to hug the knees into the chest. Maybe again, circle the knees a few times in each direction, just releasing the lower back. And let's come into one last happy baby. So as the feet face the ceiling, legs are open wide. Draw the knees down towards the floor. And then release your feet and stretch yourself long on the mat. Once you're all stretched out, take a big breath in. Point your toes, flex your fingers, hold your breath. And open your mouth and exhale with a big sigh. As you let your arms float down to your sides, just allow your feet to open out to the side. Get comfortable on your mat for your Shavasana. Letting go of all thoughts, letting go of any control of the breath. Let yourself be still. Staying here for as long as your time allows. I'll ring my bells 3 times, and it's time to come out of Shavasana. Keeping your eyes closed, slowly start to deepen your inhalation and lengthen your exhalation. As your awareness comes back into your body, slowly start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe gently move your head from side to side. Start to roll the wrists and the ankles. Letting those little movements turn into any bigger stretches that might feel good. And then whenever you're ready, roll over onto whichever side feels better. Bending your knees. And then use your hands to press yourself back up into a seated position. So once again, finding balance on your sitting bones, straight spine. And we'll take one big breath in together, bringing the arms up. And as you exhale, bring the hands together in front of your heart. And the light inside of me acknowledges and greets the light inside each and every one of you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Yay! Thanks for joining us.
Yes.